Now to do an inverse relationship, we'll begin at wrist depth, we'll work into shoulder depth, and from shoulder we'll start applying our hip range, leg fencing, and then we can move in and out of whatever range is available. Right. Now that we've explored and moved from one depth to the next, you can create your own variations for the few that we haven't done yet so far. We're going to start from no contact range, and we're going to work inside, and we're going to try and apply this strategy of secure, shock, saturation. What I want you to do is use this drill, which is more of a dynamic drill, and as you will see in flow fighting, dynamic drill refers to habituating and sensitizing to unexpected events. When you're at no contact range, there's a lot of things that can happen that you can't predict. As you get closer and closer, you're reducing the amount of variables that can happen, and you're increasing your ability to collect data kinesthetically. Obviously, you have a lot of visual data initially from no contact range. So when you're doing a dynamic drill, such as beginning at no contact range and working inward, your leg fencing should be acting appropriately. Don't try and throw any type of ankle maneuver at close range. Don't try and throw any type of hip maneuver at ankle range. But once again, that's with a caveat of range compression. So Now, we've given an example of a dynamic drill, but you can add in interesting parameters. You can change the nature of the environment from a square ring to a rectangular to an octagonal. You can take it outside and adjust the terrain, whether on gravel, sand, mud, snow, ice. It really changes the variables and gives you a lot more dynamism, a lot more things that are unexpected, shifts. Or you can start to devise some of your own dynamic drills that will add some variety and fun and impact the competitiveness of the drills. For instance, a great drill that I like to do, affectionately named the blood sport drill, is to role play a particular style. Come in with your opponent. One coach assigns the role player a particular style and then goes against the other player. For instance, Dan would be himself. And as Dan comes in, he is the one that's actually going to be playing the part of Dan's style. And I would come in, for instance, playing the part my coach assigns me. I'm going to be doing Western boxing. And in this drill, that's what I'm limited to. Now, Dan is going to have to instantly assess this style and determine, as I come in from my stance, what he's doing is checking what my defensive action tendencies are and what I've been conditioned to do. So he's collecting data to assess what my particular style is going to be. Now, I could come out real deep and low and bust out my Tong Sudo or my Kyokushinkai or whatever style you want to role play. Come out with your Muay. But whatever particular style your coach assigns you, the value for this drill is not just for Dan's style. The value of this drill is also for what I'm portraying. And that is, I have to effectively model the strategy of a particular style. Now what that does is, within me, it gives me an understanding of a deliberate strategy, a deliberate arsenal of techniques. And by limiting me to that, I then have to portray what the strengths and weaknesses of that particular style are. The old saying goes, if you're not deliberately going somewhere, you're going nowhere in particular. So in this drill, if you don't have a conscious and deliberate strategy, you're going to have an unconscious and accidental strategy. You don't want to not know what you can expect from yourself because you already don't know what to expect from an opponent. Like Dan Millman, a great author, said, if you go out and you face only one opponent and you doubt yourself, you're outnumbered. So when you're in this drill, get an idea of portraying different styles in order to understand what your strategy is. That's the blood sport drill. Another interesting drill is the evolution drill. Go out and get yourself a library of the different UFC competitions from 1 to the present, 38. And go through, assign, or have your coach assign you a particular fighter from each event, from 1 to present. And each time you come out, you're going to see a slow evolution moving away from stylism to individualism. When you get to present, you're actually modeling a particular fighter and his strategy, not a particular style. Make it challenging on yourself. Don't choose your role model. Choose the person that you hate. Choose the person whose style just absolutely just irritates you, because that gives you an understanding of his rationale, why he's behaving the way he is, and it lets you assess and collect data on that particular opponent. And finally, the role-playing drill, which is your coach assigns you 3 tapes of different fights from, say, Marius Sperry, and you then have to assess his style and portray it. Everything from facial calibration to movement idiosyncrasies to gestures. That drill allows you to take it all the way to the present and dynamically assess, evaluate, and apply a particular fighter's strategy. If you can do that, then it will be a deliberate process for you. You will have moved from being a regurgitator to an innovator. You'll move from being coached to being self-coached. That's the way you're going to liberate your fighting style, and that's the way you're going to uncover what your natural proclivities are.